I'm Thomas Huber. I'm an associate professor of information systems at ESSEC Business School in Paris. And I am the academic director of two programs, the Executive Master in Digital Transformation and our new Executive Master in Artificial Intelligence. Let me first talk about our ideas about the EMDT, because I'm also the academic director of the Executive Master in Digital Transformation. And that program was designed with a really broad digital transformation scope in mind. So it covers a wide range of digital issues like digital platforms, digital marketing, data governance, IT project management. So it's really like a wide toolkit. But over the last couple of years, what we have observed is that there is a different and more specific need that is currently emerging. And this is that, we have professionals whose day-to-day job is already revolving around AI. So, building AI systems, operating them, redesigning white-collar work with these systems and measuring their impact. They talk about the EU AI Act, and this depth on a particular type of digital system, so AI systems, that's simply something that the EMDT was not built to provide. And so the EMAI, our new program, provides exactly this depth, because we feel that we are already in a moment where AI is really changing how decisions are made in organizations, how work is coordinated, how value is created, and of course, how every one of us is working. And many leaders just feel real pressure to do something with AI, and they lack a structured way of thinking about it. And this is what the EMAI is designed to close. This gap is what we want to address. Let me first say, AI is also a powerful tool, right? But a tool, right, that's something you just pick up to solve a very defined and perhaps a narrow, well-defined problem. But a strategic asset, right, that's something you have to actively invest in over long periods of time. You have to govern it. You have to develop certain competences and skill on a company level over time. And this is just different from how we think about a tool, right? It's these long-term questions that are not just about, right, features and, price, which are the things that we talk about when talking tools. When we talk about a strategic asset, it's really about what do we need as a company in order to make use of this new asset and the opportunities that it provides. Yes, it's an excellent question. And I think, when you treat AI as a strategic asset, right? When you have a strategy foundation, I think you as a manager, as a leader, you just ask different questions. It's not just, should we automate this task? But instead you would perhaps ask, where could AI really create value for our companies? How do we build the organizational capabilities and resources to capture the value that AI helps us create? And, it's more like making deliberate investment decisions, not just about technology. It's about designing your organizational structures and your processes to be ready for the age of data, right? And I think this is just a different mindset when you have this strategic foundation that will inform your thinking and decision making. One of our modules is called AI Impacts Across Levels. And I think what will surprise people about this module is that, in contrast to most AI programs on the market, they focus, either on the technical side or sort of purely on the business side. And this module really looks at what AI does to the society, the economy, to organizations, but also to work itself. And we have in this module, we have economists, for example, looking at job reallocation and productivity at the macroeconomic level. But also we have IS scholars examining, how firm structures and processes may change. We have researchers that have, looked in detail how white-collar work is changing in very concrete ways. And things like which tasks get augmented, what can get automated, how do we redesign roles and processes accordingly. And I think sort of this wide range of changes, I think this will make participants stop and think, it's not just about their AI projects, but, about the world their organization is operating in and how this wider world is affected by the rise of AI. So for us, the thesis, it's often people see it, right, as a theoretical exercise, right? But I personally think of it more as a means that allows you to demonstrate real expertise on a very, specific and highly focused problem. And the professional thesis requires, of course, from our participants, really deep engagement with a concrete, real-world AI challenge. And I always say this challenge needs to be directly relevant to our participants' careers and or organization, right? And I think with the thesis, what they often do in also my other program that I'm managing, they move forward a concrete initiative. They produce critical reflection on a professional practice. And often I think that changes, for example, how someone is leading a team or a unit. So with the thesis, I think, our participants, they really can bring something back to their organization. And of course, they are also building a reputation for themselves as someone who has done really serious work on a real-world AI problem. So I think this is what the professional thesis sort of contributes for our participants. First off, is it somebody already leading or just someone moving into AI? My answer to this is both, right? Can fit for our program, right? So our program is designed around sort of 3 profiles that we want to target. And the first is the AI product and operations lead, right? Someone who needs to control the life cycle of AI from building to compliance to continuous evolvement. You can think of roles like head of AI and machine learning, a data or product manager, a platform lead or something like that. The second profile is leaders that redesign work with AI, like a classic business unit director or a service line lead or a transformation lead who needs to rebuild how work is done in their particular domain. And the third is the AI entrepreneur, like, a founder or corporate venture lead who, are asking, how can we build businesses around AI? What are the specific challenges when scaling AI systems? The online format for us is really a deliberate choice. For us, it's not at all a compromise, okay? Because for us, what we see when we do online teaching is we are trying to combine the flexibility, right, that online teaching undoubtedly provides, right? But we also do a lot to make sure that we have sort of really deep and rich interactions that you would expect from an ESSEC executive education program, right? So you can think of going through our program, when you think of it in terms of a typical week, okay, it's a very steady and regular rhythm. So every Monday, for example, you would get access to new content that you can engage with on your own pace whenever it suits your schedule. Okay, these would be short videos, readings, but also interactive content, right? Like quizzes, for example, learning flashcards and things like that. This is what you do on your own at your own pace every week on another topic. But then every week, we also have a live webinar with our ESSEC faculty, and this is where the learning becomes really interactive, right? You would have discussion with our ESSEC experts, and this is where you can also bring, your own experiences into class. And then on top of that, we have group assignments, right? And these group assignments, this is where you have really regular interaction with your peers that face similar challenges. And of course, you also learn from their experiences. Okay, so this is all about the community. Okay, and then I think with regards to the rigor, right, we have graded assignments along the way. Most of those assignments are nowadays sort of open questions where we encourage our participants to actually use AI. So the question of whether people are cheating in online environments, I think this is like a question from 3 or 4 years ago. I think the rigor, right, is just enforced by applying the same high standards that we apply in any other program. I hope that these employers will notice actually 3 skills. So the first is AI literacy, okay? So our participants will be able, to evaluate like AI claims critically. They can translate between technical and business teams and ultimately make better decisions, right? Then they will notice that our participants are able to what we call operationalize AI, to what is the right scope for a particular use case or pilot. How do we define success metrics? How do we manage data and model risks? Okay. And then the third is, I think it's not a skill, but it's more like, I think they bring credibility and a network, right? So this is a degree from a prestigious institution. They do a thesis, right, where they demonstrate like real world deep expertise on a real world challenge. And I think this is also something that any employer will immediately notice. First off, I think the key difference here is that AI, in contrast to most technologies, actually does pose existential questions, right? It's such a powerful technology, and experts may disagree how close we are to super intelligence or general intelligence, right? But no one has ever asked about smartphones or the cloud, whether they will take over and rule the world, right? So I think the key difference here is that AI poses those existential questions in the first place. And I think what that means, right, practically for the participants in our program is it's really not just about how do we deploy AI faster or other such very operational questions, right? But you really need to very seriously ask, how can we deploy AI in ways that are, not only effective and efficient, but also, compliant, safe, and aligned with wider values, because there's real risk with such powerful technologies.